Hey, Forever Beautiful. Okay, y'all. This is going to be an emotional story time, but I want to tell it. I feel like I need to tell it. Okay? So before we get into it, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you are privy to every single video that I upload, y'all. Okay? Now, this one is kind of rough for me, and only people that have experienced this is gonna understand it. Okay, this glare is blowing me, but however, whatever. So, this one is about visions. Okay, visions, y'all. Now, I've always had this thing, right? Me, my granny, and my big mama had these gifts, right? I still have them. Clearly, they're deceased, but I still have them, right? My granny used to tell us all the time, if you dream something 3 times in a row or 3 nights in a row, it's gonna happen exactly how you dreamt it or very close to it, right? So let me start from the beginning, give y'all a better understanding. So when I was 3, that's my absolute first memory, right? I remember every single thing since I was 3, or almost, at least 99%. Anyway, I was a little girl, and I used to be with my big mama all the time, right? My big mama was my great grandmother. Y'all know, y'all got some too. And I spent a lot of time with her. She would leave her front door unlocked because she knew when she started cooking and I could smell it, I'm coming. So she would leave the door open for me, and I go in and I go straight to the kitchen. I'm a little girl now. And whatever breakfast she made, I was always there. She may have needed my help, you know, with something or another. Now, these were the times where the grandparents and the great grandparents, when they cooked, they did everything from scratch. They didn't do that box stuff, that canned stuff. They cooked, okay? They baked from scratch. Now, I was always in the kitchen with her because everything smelled so good. I wanted to know what she was cooking, how she was cooking it, what she was doing. I needed to know everything, right? So, um, so when she was making desserts, right? Oh my gosh, she had the absolute best homemade ice cream. She would put buckets on the windowsill. So when it snowed, she got that first snow, that fresh snow, and would make homemade ice cream. Now to this day, I still have not had any ice cream that tastes like hers. It's some good ice cream out here, but it wasn't hers. Okay, so that and then the cakes, she would have me do, put a little bit of this, put a little bit of that, put a pinch of this, and just a touch of that. They didn't do measurements. They got eyeball every single thing. And probably because they had been cooking for so long, they didn't need to. They know everything just by sight, just by looking. So I would do that. Now when she finished with this cake bowl, oh my gosh, I had the bowl to myself, right? My Now here comes the crowd. My cousins and my uncle would come. And we're like, oh, can I get some? Can I get some? And I'd be like, no. And Big Mama, she'd look at them like, well, you didn't help, you know. And it was like, so I can't get none. Now they worked up. Just calm down because you heard what she said. She has spoken. You cannot get any of my bowl. It's my bowl. Now, if you hadn't been here, then, maybe we could have shared some. So it was at my discretion if I wanted to share it or not. I chose not to, you know. But But I might do a little bit, a little. Nah, let's not go crazy. Okay. So that, and I just always was with my granny, my grandmother, my great grandmother, what my granny too. Anyway, so now my cousin swears that Big Mama passed in '79. So if she did, I was 8. Okay, so we just gonna go with that because it is some discrepancy somewhere, but we gonna go with that. Anywho, so I'm in the kitchen with her all the time, all the time. I was talking about it did not fail every day before I was getting ready to go to school. I had to go see Big Mama. I'm only going next door. Anyway, so after she passed, it was rough. It was really, really rough. She got me baptized when I was 6. And the two things that we always did with her, we always ate with her, and she made sure us girls went to church, right? Okay, so let me move forward. I spent a lot of time with her. So now she passed, and I remember still smelling her cooking. And I would go over there just hoping that I would see her. This is what I didn't want to do. And I was hoping that I saw her, but was hoping that it was her cooking, but it wasn't. This is rough, y'all. But I'm trying to get to the visions because this is like overwhelming at this point. So I went over there this particular day. Now, when you're young, you don't know what visions are. You don't know what this extra stuff is. You know it's weird. You know it's something. You can ask questions. You may or may not get the answer depending on who it's coming from. And so I went over there this particular day, morning. I'm getting ready to go to school. And as soon as I opened the front door, you can see straight down the hall to the kitchen, right? And the kitchen door had a window in it. It was this light. It shined clean down the hall to the front door. And I just stood. I couldn't move. I stood there. I was stuck. And it was warm. It was bright. And I know that was my Big Mama. And she just wanted me to know that no matter what, she was always going to be there and always be around. So I had to hold that close. I had to appreciate that. And I never forgot it. So now I'm getting a little bit older. Sorry, y'all. I'm just a big baby. So now I'm a little bit older. And I always thought about my Big Mama. I always talked about it. Even to this day, I still talk about her. And so my bedroom, right, was across the hall. Was directly across from the front door. And one day I really was paying attention to it. And I'm looking. It was my Big Mama. Now, let me go back just a little bit. My granny used to tell us all the time when we were being bad. Well, I don't want to say bad, but we were being kids, okay? Now, I guess if we were saying or doing something that we shouldn't have, she'd be like, don't make me call my mama down here on y'all. Now, remember, she is already deceased and had been for some years at that point. Don't make me call my mama down here on y'all. And, we just being kids. I don't know if we even knew what that meant. And we'll be like, she ain't coming down here. She not coming nowhere. We always was being smart. And I guess if we were doing too much for my granny, she definitely called on Big Mama, and she would show up, and it scared us so bad. Oh, we had to correct whatever those behaviors were. We corrected those quickly because we didn't want to see her like that. You know what I mean? Even though it was a pretty, pretty vision of her. She was in all white, which leads me to how I saw her on the back of our front door. I'm laying in my bed one day. My bedroom door is open, and I can see straight across to the front door. And I'm looking, and then I had to get a little bit closer, and then a little closer, because it was Big Mama. Now, nobody had done anything, but she showed up because she wanted me to know that she was always with me, right? I could see her full body on this door from her head all the way down to the cutoff of her dress. Her dress was really long, was white, all white, and I could see her clearly on the back of this door. The imprint stayed there for years, but she wanted us to know. Well, I only knew because I was the only one that could see her. She wanted me to know that she was there. She wasn't going to leave me, you know. And I would look at her and I would talk to her all the time. When I felt any kind of way, I would talk to her, and it gave me comfort. It gave me comfort. Now, one time, I was doing something I absolutely had no business doing, and my granny was out. We were actually at my great auntie's house, my great great auntie's house, and I had been, just doing every single thing under the sun that I had no business doing. Okay, and sorry y'all, and I knew I wasn't living right. I wasn't doing right. I wasn't being right. And this was a kicker here. It's so many stories, y'all, but I'm going to tell y'all as much as I can in this video. It's so many more. I am in the back bedroom. My great-great auntie and great-great uncle were in their room. My granny was gone. I'm laying there watching TV. Now, this door, y'all know these doors that once you close those doors, that door is not going to come open until somebody twists the knob and pushes it open, or twist the knob and pull it open, right? This door opened one day, and I'm thinking it's the wind, maybe. There's no way in the world, I don't care if it was the roughest breeze in that house, that door was going to open. It never should have. So the door opened. I looked. I don't see anybody coming through it. But what I did see was the imprint of my big mama's butt sit at the foot of the bed. And I started bawling immediately because I knew what I was doing wasn't right. I was not completely right. You know what I mean? And I screamed. No, I didn't. I was not at this time. I said, "Big Mama, I know that's you. I know that's you." And she just sat there. And she wanted me to know, what you're doing is not right. And it wasn't one thing or another. It was every single thing. I was just in the streets, partying and stuff all the time, just doing everything I should not have been doing. And she wanted me to know that she didn't approve of that. She didn't appreciate that. Okay? I got on the phone. And I called my granny and I told her, you got to come home. She was like, come home for what? I said, you got to come home. Big mama here. And she was like, I told you to stop all of that nonsense. She said, I'll be there in a minute. She was about 20 minutes away. And she came because she knew when I said what I said, I wasn't lying. Because only me, my granny, and my big mama had this thing, these gifts, right? I don't know if y'all have ever heard somebody say um, that they were born with a veil over their face, right? This is me, my granny, and my big mama. We saw things other people couldn't see. We saw things before they happened. And I'm talking about clearly, you know. And a lot of times in advance, way ahead of time before they actually happened, okay? Some things are good to know, not every single thing. But when you knew what that was and you actually got into it, the older you got, you understood it, okay? Now, my granny came home and she said, what did she do? I said, she just sat here and let me know I'm always gonna be with you. No matter where you go and what you do, I'm always gonna be there. She wanted me to make the right choices, make the right decisions, and be my absolute best. Okay? Now, I've seen her on multiple occasions over the years, and this is a lot of years later. Okay? A lot. All throughout my childhood, my teenage years, adulthood, on to this day. I still see her. Everywhere that I move, she's there already waiting on me, okay? Because she want to let me know she's always going to be there. She's been in my bathrooms, everywhere I've lived. She's been somewhere or another. She's been imprinted on my window. On the, do y'all remember those tubs that had the feet on them? Face imprinted there. It's been on walls. It's been everywhere. So I know wherever I go, I'm safe with her. I know that. She's always there. A lot of them are, but definitely her. Now, she keeps me safe. She keeps me sane. Just always, always a protector. So is my daddy in heaven, Jesus. Always, always. Now, let me tell y'all another story. I had to get that out because that's the most emotional. Now, I was at home one day, and from the beginning, when we first moved into this house, right? Me and my granny have always been like this. My granny raised me. We were always, always together. Always. Okay? Same thing with Big Mama. Now, we first moved into this house. We loved the house. It was big enough for everybody and all of this. I used to see these people. Now, in our dining room, it was a closet, walk-in closet. It didn't have a door, but you put your little stuff in there. People coming in, they come visit, put your coats in there, your shoes, whatever. And I would see these people walking all the time. The first time I saw them, I'm just looking. Yeah, I go, so who are these people? Tall, slim, brown-skinned guy, and a shorter person with him, right? Couldn't tell if this was an older person or if this was a kid because of the height. He was this tall. They were down here. And so I didn't pay it no mind. I've been seeing that stuff for years, since I was a kid, right? My granny, this day, Okay, let me finish this first. So they would walk from the closet across the dining room to the window, and then they would disappear. My granny saw them this particular night, and she's calling me. She said, "Who the hell are these people in here?" She said, "Who the hell are these people in here walking?" She had it too. She could see them. Here I go. I said, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Yep, here it is." And so she was like, "Come up here and see if you see these people. What do they want? What they want?" And I said, I get up there and I was like, I said, "What they look like." Now, when she told me, she described the same thing I described to y'all. She said it was a tall, slim, brown skinned guy and a shorter, brown skinned person. And I said, "I don't know. I see them all the time." She said, "I know you do, 'cause I do." She said, "Who you think they are?" I said, "It's probably some people that used to live here before, you know, probably years ago, because they were older." Well, the shorter one, I couldn't tell, but the tall guy, he was definitely older. I said, "Probably some people used to live here before." And she said, well, we got to find out who they are, because I don't want them walking over me like that." I said, "Well, I don't think it's your choice, because if it was, then they wouldn't be doing it already." So I said, "I'm going to go next door and find out." Now, next door was our neighbors. He was the pastor, and she was his wife. Now, I go over there the next day, and I asked her, I said, "Miss So and so," I said, "I got a question for you." She said, "Go ahead." And I asked her, I said, "Who are these people that's walking in our house?" Now, you would think that her being a pastor's wife, that she understood what I was saying, but she didn't. She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "It's some people in our house walking, and they walk all the time." I said, "Me and my granny, we just trying to figure out who it is." She said, "I don't understand what you're saying." And then I described them to her. And she said, uh-uh. She said, "Oh my gosh, everybody always has this this is the response all the time. Oh my gosh, it ain't no way you can know that, because these people been dead for years before y'all showed up." She said they had that house, what, 2 or 3 families before we got it. And I was like, I said, huh. She said, "It's no way that you can know that. That's not even possible." I said, "I'm telling you, it is. How would I know this? How would I know what they look like? I could describe what they wear and all that." And she was like, she said, "No, you couldn't know that." She kept saying that. She said, "But that," I said, "Who is it though?" She said, "That's Mr. and Mrs. So and so. You know, they lived here for all of these years. They got married and they had this house." She said, "When we moved over here, they had already been in this house for years." She said, "So I'm just not understanding." So I'm like, we got to move past this part now, because you can't keep saying that when I said what I said already." She was like, "Yeah, they've been staying in that house for a long time. They've been there for years." And she was just looking like she was stunned. She had this look on her face like, "Who are you?" So she looking upside my head like, "Who are you?" She didn't say it, but she was looking like it. And so I got the information that I needed so that I can take it back to my granny. And I went over there and I told her. And she was like, she said, "Well, I don't know what the issue is and how come, they can't just leave here. But what I know is sometimes when people go from one life to the next, they get stuck somewhere and they're not always able to make that transition. Maybe they had something else to do. Maybe they had some work that wasn't finished there. But what I know is they were not trying to leave that house. Okay? They said, nope, this is our house. We ain't going nowhere. And probably saw these people up until the time we moved. Okay. Visions, prophetic dreams, and something else I wanted to say. Seeing spirits, stuff like that. Now I got the spirit on me. It's something else. Now, a lot of times you might not want to know certain things, and then even some things you don't understand. You're trying to figure out, well, why am I seeing this? So I'm gonna give y'all one more story, and then I'm gonna end this. So one time, I kept having these dreams. Now this was somebody I didn't know, just like these other people that was walking. I didn't know this guy, but the dreams. Now these were dreams. Okay. I used to dream that I was at the casino. No, I wasn't at the casino. He was at the casino, and he was coming out, going into the garage to get into his car. And something happened to him. Didn't know what. But the man he was slumped over in his car. So half of his body was inside, and then, the rest of it was out on the ground. And I'm looking like I used to wake up because I'm not understanding why am I seeing this man. I didn't know him. And I had the same dream, the same reoccurring dream, and it was the exact same way all the time. Now remember what I told y'all, what my granny said about these dreams. Okay, if you dream of 3 nights or 3 times in a row. But this went on and on and on. And the thing was, when you have reoccurring dreams and stuff like that, especially if it's something negative, you have to pray for that person. You praying that however you seeing that and it's in a negative light, you want to pray that it doesn't happen that way, or that it doesn't happen at all. Okay. I had this dream for 2 years. Do you hear me? Until I finally saw it on the news. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the man. That's the man. That's the guy I've been dreaming about for 2 years. And then it finally happened. So on the news, they said that he won a large amount of money. Somebody was watching him, paying very close attention to him. Okay. They followed him out to the parking lot, and they tried to rob him. Now, if they got any money or not, I don't know. I don't have a clue. But they tried to rob him. And my thing is, even if that was the situation, how come you just couldn't take this man's money and go? Did you have to kill him for that? Even though we pray that certain things never happen in the first place because we don't want them to. Not that way. You know what I mean? But when things are going to happen, a lot of things are out of our control. And a lot of times, even if we were there to intervene, we don't know if we would have stopped that action. And then you don't know what part of that you would have been. So, but yeah, that was something else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's always something. But I dreamed this for 2 years before it actually happened. Now, my thing was, and I asked my pastor, why in the world would I be dreaming that? I didn't know him. He said, all you were supposed to do was pray for this man. Just pray. Just pray. He said, so for future references, pray. You want to pray that it does not happen. Okay? Who child? This is a lot, I swear. And again, hopefully this doesn't spook anybody. But I'm talking about visions, spirits, and prophetic dreams are absolutely real, y'all. Okay? I don't know if y'all really pay attention to stuff like that, but I definitely do. I have a reason to. And plus, I've been having it, seeing it, living it since I was 3. you know. But anywho, y'all, I think I'm gonna conclude this. I hear some music playing in the background. I definitely gotta go. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not, but I'm definitely gonna go. And I just want to say, y'all have a really, really good night. Be safe when y'all go out tomorrow. Love on somebody, and treat people right, y'all. That's it. Help as much as you can. Support them as much as you can. Okay. I'm gonna leave y'all with that, and I'm gone. Bye. See y'all for the next story time. Bye.